What is up, everyone? Contra back, and today we are helping our friend Snoo37855. Snoo. I'm gonna call you Snoo. I hope that's okay. Shout out Futurama. So, Snoo is having issues with her boyfriend flirting with another girl at a party. Yikes. That can be a tough one. That could definitely be a tough one. So, getting right into it, the absolute variables in the situation, obviously, is the fact that you felt your boyfriend was flirting with another girl. Now, people may be saying, oh, if she thought he was flirting but he thought otherwise, how is that an absolute variable? Simple answer. It's because you're in the relationship. There's only two of you, so your opinions are the only one that matters. If you feel he was flirting, then for all intents and purposes, he was flirting. It's a behavior that you don't like, therefore it should be respected because you're the one in the relationship with him. Now, on the other hand, the unknown variable, based on how you wrote your question, is whether or not he feels he was flirting, and therefore if he feels he was doing something wrong. I know immediately after it happened, you went up to him and you spoke to him about it, which you should do. Communication, number one factor in a successful and healthy relationship. So good job on that. However, it sounded like he gaslighted you initially and was a little upset with the matter and then apologized afterwards. What I don't know is whether or not he was apologizing for the flirtatious behavior with the other girl or whether or not he was just apologizing for blowing up at you. So that's why that's a bit unknown in this situation. And therein comes the source of your problem. It's the fact that you guys may not be on the same page about what happened. I'm assuming that's the case because after you spoke to him about it, you then wrote in to Reddit about feeling uneasy about the situation. So the solution, simple solution, is that you guys need to have a calm conversation about the issue. The dissonance is what's going to cause the biggest issue. The fact that you feel one way about it and he may not feel the same way. You can't have that in a relationship. Regardless on whether or not he was flirting or not flirting, that's all subjective. You guys need to come to a mutual agreement about how you each feel with your own subjective perspectives on the matter. And basically what that comes down to is making sure that he understands that you didn't like the behavior that he was doing, regardless of what it was. It doesn't matter if you're justified or not justified. You're always justified because you're in a relationship with him. So just making sure that he understands that you didn't like it and that he respects that and takes it from there. I don't know whether he decides to do so again in the future or thinks it's not a problem or whatever. That's up to you guys to work out. But just making sure that he understands that you weren't okay with that behavior. And on the same token, because your relationship is really early, I think you guys are around 3 months, so you're really just starting your relationship together. You may need to understand that what he thought he was doing was not wrong in his mind, and that also needs to be respected. Although you may not be okay with the behavior, which you're totally entitled to feel that way, you have to understand that he may not have thought any of the actions that he was doing on that night was hurting you. And it's the thought that counts. It really is in that situation, the first time anyways. Just because he may not have thought he was doing anything wrong. You know, it's hard to place blame on someone for doing something when what they were doing came from quote-unquote good intentions, right? So because it's early in your relationship, it's natural that you guys are going to have some kinks that need to be worked out, right? And coming to the same page on certain matters, right? He may not have known that you would have felt that way in that situation, so he may not have done it otherwise had he have known. So that's why it's important when you guys have this conversation to make sure that if he does say what he thought he was doing wasn't wrong, you respect that in that moment, so long as he chooses to get better from that point on. It's okay if he thought that what he was doing wasn't wrong, but it did have a negative effect on you, and that needs to be respected. So going forward, he needs to make sure that he needs to be aware that his actions in that specific context are going to affect you in a certain way, and then how he acts in those situations will dictate how you're going to feel about how your relationship goes forward. So basically what I'm saying is talk about it, make sure that he knows that you didn't feel happy about it, make sure that you respect that he may have felt that he wasn't doing anything wrong, and then work out a solution from there between the two of you guys going forward. It's early in a relationship, so these things are going to happen, but as long as you guys are willing to compromise with each other, you can come out with a stronger relationship. So talk to him, work it out, and I'm sure you guys are going to be better going forward. And just be ready to forgive. It's okay if he made a mistake. Obviously, he didn't know how you were feeling, potentially anyways. So just be ready to forgive and move on. Don't hold a grudge against him for this if it was behavior that he wasn't expecting to make you feel unhappy about, right? So, yeah, I take care and have a good one, guys. Outro no jutsu.